Over the years, we have seen a lot of developers change content in their games to get the lowest ratings possible, even if it ruins an experience. They figure if they remove a few specific scenes and tone down the general content, a lower rating means more people to sell the title to. Then it leads to, of course, more sales. But with Callisto Protocol, we've known it was going to be a very intense and gory game, but the developers have decided to outright cancel it in Japan because they don't want to censor it. I have a bunch of things to show off, but before we get into the topic at hand, if you enjoy the content that I create, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Follow me on social media like Twitter or mine so that you can see when my content is posted. And of course, if you do really enjoy the videos and the live streams that I create, please consider becoming a Dark Titan via Patreon for just $1 a month, or support the channel via YouTube memberships. All of the links are in the description, and of course, I do really appreciate all of the support. So this says the Callisto Protocol has been cancelled in Japan over its violent content. The developers refused to make any cuts. So it says, Japanese gamers won't get to enjoy the upcoming space-based horror title, The Callisto Protocol, after the country's rating boards deemed it too violent and wouldn't issue an age rating. The developers refused to make the required cuts, but have promised those who pre-ordered the game get full refunds. So the Callisto Protocol has been called a spiritual successor to Dead Space, so we can expect plenty of gore and gruesomeness involving monstrous creatures called biophage. Now, I have been watching the news with this title. I do plan to stream it when it comes out. It looks awesome, but I figured months ago that they might have some problems with age ratings and it potentially getting banned in regions because, of course, it is very violent, very gory. I'm expecting it to be banned in probably like Australia. I wasn't sure about Japan, but now we do know. But I am very excited for this game, and I know a lot of other people are as well. It says it seems it was all a bit too much for Zero, Japan's equivalent of the North American ESRB. The developer, Striking Distance, was asked to make cuts that would allow an edited version of the game to be released in the region, but it refused. As such, the company will be refunding all those who pre-ordered the sci-fi horror. Now, the reason why this is such a big story is because the developers aren't willing to censor their game, and usually devs are willing to do anything to get their titles released in as many regions as possible. It is sad for Japanese players who wanted to experience the game since now they can't easily access it, but at the same time, I have to give props to the devs for standing their ground. We see so many developers do anything they can to censor their games and alter the content. I get why they would want it released in as many regions as possible. I mean, it means more money for them at the end of the day, but they are really sticking, to their game, to their creation, and they're saying, we are not willing to censor this title, which is awesome to see from them. We have decided to discontinue the Japanese version of the game, explained the official social media account, translated from Japanese. We have determined that the game cannot pass the Zero rating in its current state and that changing the content will not provide the experience that players expect. We would appreciate your understanding in Japan. Now, according to a Tokyo analyst for VGC, the Zero Ratings Board has previously come down hard on games featuring gore and dismemberment especially. While it has forced developers to edit games for violence and nudity before releasing them in the country, including The Last of Us, Cyberpunk, Uncharted, and Witcher 3, Grand Theft Auto, games rarely get banned, which is very true. There aren't a lot of games that are banned in Japan, but they do this. They will not give a game a age rating, unless, of course, you alter the content. And these massive games have also been altered in this region. Like it says Grand Theft Auto 5, Witcher 3, Cyberpunk, The Last of Us, because of course these groups want their games to be released in Japan, so they figure, okay, we'll edit some content out. As this analyst said, many people don't know a lot of games are censored in Japan. There are so many games that have been, censored. I mean, again, they do not ban a lot, but Zero has become very strict over the years and have forced a lot of groups to censor their titles. Now, this is a list of censored video games in Japan, and it might not be complete, it might be missing a few, but as you can see, there are a lot of games on this list. I mean, it is very unfortunate. But as you can see, going on over to the trailers on YouTube, people are very excited for this game's release. I mean, 500,000 views in a month. It's got 23,000 likes to only around 100 dislikes. Let's go to the next trailer, the Truth of Black Iron trailer. 600,000 views, 25,000 likes, 300 dislikes. People are extremely excited for this title. I think it's going to be great. I really hope that it's going to be great, but right now, it is very sad for the Japanese players who wanted to play it. I know on social media they are taking a little bit of heat because there are some people saying you didn't try to give the experience to these players. You know, you're not being fair. You should do anything to get this game in the hands of as many consumers as possible. But they're sticking by their creation and they're defending it and they're saying we are not going to change what we created that we are very proud of. And yes, even though they have taken some heat on social media, there are a lot of people supporting this decision. Striking Distance would rather cancel the Japanese release entirely than alter its vision for the game. They know that if they remove content and they tone it down, it's not going to be the same experience for players, and they're willing to just say, yeah, unfortunately, you guys can't play this. The Callisto protocol has been banned/cancelled in Japan for being too grotesque. Honestly, makes me even more excited for it. Gonna be one hell of a ride. As much as I criticize the West for censorship, Japan is no censorship-free utopia either, and that is very true. I do like to praise a lot of Japanese developers and a lot of games that come out of the region, but it is true, games still get censored there. The analyst's tweet actually went kind of viral, and he said, a lot of followers are like, Callisto Protocol is that brutal, now I want it even more. At Callisto, the game would have sold in the low 5 digits in Japan. The promo uplift from all of that on Twitter and the media coverage is likely worth a lot more than that, which is true. This situation is blowing up on social media. A lot of people are talking about it. A lot of the game journalists and websites are covering this situation, and they are getting a lot of eyes on their game at this point. Maybe they knew that this was going to happen. Maybe they knew that it wasn't going to pass 0, but they tried anyway, and now they're talking about protecting their vision, and ultimately it was a great marketing strategy. But either way, I'm going to be buying it. I know a lot of other people are going to be buying it as well, and everyone seems pretty freaking hyped for this release. But that's all that I really had to talk about in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed it and found it important and informative, please make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.